Okay. And see, so far we've been doing programming sequentially, right? So if you do 10 lines of code, you execute pretty much all the lines and in the same order, right? Like line number 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, up to 10. And if you have more codes, you go in a sequential fashion. But now we'll talk about how to take different paths. So in programming or in computer science or in software engineering, if they say different paths, that's what it means, okay? That you don't have to execute all the lines of code, right? Depending upon the situation, depending upon the input data, your execution or the lines of code that you will execute, okay, will differ, okay? Simple example is, let's say if I have to, okay, check. Let's say if I have to check if the student has passed the exam or not, right? Let me take a sip of water. So I have to check if a student has passed the exam or not. Now, in this case, okay, your program should handle both the conditions, right? That yes, student has passed and no, student has not passed, right? You need to handle both the conditions in your program. But at one instance, only one of these will be printed, correct? So let's say I print, congratulations, okay, you have passed the exam, right? And then another line, I'll say print, sorry, you have not cleared the exam. Okay, right? So I have both these options, right? I have both these options, okay? But these options would change, okay? Both these options would, I mean, not would change, but both of these options will be there, but only one of these will be executed at one point of time, okay? So this is what we say, okay, conditions, right? Let's say you are on a crossroad, right? And you have three roads in front of you, right? Depending upon your destination, depending upon where you want to go, you will choose one of the roads, right? Same here, depending upon the some criteria. And this criteria will be before here, right? So you'll have some criteria. Based on the criteria, okay, you will decide whether you should say pass or fail, right? So criteria could be, let's say you have total marks, right? Equal to whatever, right? Let's say 350. And let's say criteria is that you should have scored minimum 200 to pass. Correct? So now I have to use what is called as your condition. If is the command, okay, to check when you are at crossroad. Okay. If I need to go to university, then I need to take left road. If I need to go to university, I have to take left road, right? That's how we say. If I need to go to airport, I have to take right road. If I need to go to grocery store, I need to go straight, right? If, right? That's why, okay? So you have three roads, okay? And you have a condition. If I need to, so before you cross the crossroad, you need to understand what is your destination. Where do you want to go? I need to go to airport, take right. If, okay, total marks is greater than equal to 200. Okay, so at crossroad, you will ask yourself one condition. Okay, am I going to airport? Answer is yes, I'm going to airport. Yes. Then I need to take right road. Is total equal to is total greater or equal to 200? Yes. Then I need to say, okay, print, congratulations, you have passed the exam. For a minute, let's ignore this part. Okay, let me comment it out. So you have if, the question that you will ask yourself is using if. Okay. The question that you will ask yourself is using if. And followed by morning, sir. Cold here. So if followed by the condition, okay, condition is very similar to what we have discussed in operators, right? Somebody had asked, where do we use this? This is where you use conditions. And not only one, you can have multiple conditions as well. Okay. Let's say if you have 3 subjects marks, so you can say you should have scored, okay, at least 50 in all the 3 subjects, and total should be more than 200. So then you are checking 4 conditions. And we will do maybe in second example. So you will check 4 here. How do you check 4? Marks in subject 1 greater than equal to 50, and marks in subject 2 greater than equal to 50, and marks in subject 3 greater than equal to 50, and total marks greater than equal to 200. And means everything have to be true for the entire thing to be true. So for if, what matters here is the evaluated value. Okay. And this has to be equal to true. If it is true, only then you will enter inside if. You see this? I have given a space. First time we are using indentation. So far we said that every line of code should start from very first line. Every line of code should start from very first line. Correct? But to indicate that this print, okay, is only for if. That means if is followed by condition. If the condition is true, if that condition is true, then you go inside if. Let's say you have come here to meet your friend. You'll check the house number. House number is same as your friend's house. Then only you will enter inside the house. Otherwise, you will not enter. Okay. So if total mass greater than 200, now when I run this program, you see, congratulations, you have passed the exam. Why? Because I have said total mass equal to 350, right? And here I'm checking a condition. If total mass greater than equal to 200, then you enter inside if. Okay. You can have multiple lines inside if. The question is how many spaces to give here. Correct? For Python, even one single space is good enough. Python says you give one space. I understand that you are telling me that this belongs to if. Okay. There's no restriction on how many spaces you can give. You give 1, you give tab number of spaces, you give 100 number of spaces, doesn't matter. Okay. Now, how I see this is when you are doing this, when you're writing a Word document, right? And you do header, subheader, bullet, sub-bullet, right? So you have a bullet and then you do sub-bullet. Now your sub-bullet has to be inside the main bullet point, correct? But how much inside? It's up to you. You decide, right? You can change the settings. Same thing here. You can change the setting, okay? Only thing you have to remember is the number of spaces that you give for the first line you should give same number of spaces if your if has second or third or fourth line. You- For the first line, you have a choice. Okay, we have a choice. You want to give one line or two lines, or I mean, one spaces or 10 spaces or 20 spaces. But from second, third, fourth line onwards, you have no choice. You have to give same number of spaces. So if I have to say something like this, you have 7 days to reserve your admission letter, something like this. Now this belongs to this if itself, right? So the number of spaces that I give here has to be same as this. Okay. General practice is that you give one tab space, because if you're giving one single space, okay, sometimes while reading you might miss one single space, may not look that prominent. So we give one tab space. The best practice is to give one tab space. Right? Best practice is to give one tab space. With me, everyone? Now when I run it, congratulations, you have passed the exam. You have 7 days to reserve your admission. Great? Okay. So if you have only one condition to check. Now here if I make it 150, then what happens? This condition becomes false, correct? Total marks greater than 200? No. 150 is less than 200. So this becomes false, correct? If condition becomes false here, then it doesn't go inside. It doesn't go inside. Okay, nothing happened because this is false. It doesn't go. And if you have something here, okay, like print, thank you, right? So thank you will be printed because for thank you, you don't have any condition. It is in the part of your main program. That's why I did not give any space here. It's part of your main program. So it says thank you. So it starts with one, line number one. Still, it goes in sequential fashion, right? But 4 and 5, line number 4 and 5 will not always be executed. Only if this condition becomes true, you go and execute these two lines. Otherwise, you don't execute these two lines. Clear?
Okay.
Any questions so far?
Sir, what are bullets?
Bullet point is in what document? Not here. Ignore. Okay. This you understood, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, enough, enough. Bullet point I was talking about what document? Ignore. Okay. 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 Now comes something called as else. Now I'm introducing second, like you can say brother of if. Else is opposite of if. If this is true, else will not be called. Otherwise, when we say otherwise, right? This is like otherwise. Else is like otherwise. Okay. If you are going to airport, take right. Otherwise, take left. If you are going to airport, take right. Otherwise, take left. Otherwise means if you are not going to airport, enough for me to take left. There's no other condition to check here. That's why else does not have a condition. Else means if your if is true, then you don't talk about else. If is false, That's when you talk about else. If you are going to airport, take left or take right, whatever. Otherwise, take left, right? That means otherwise means, okay, you are not going to airport. Then you take this route. This is what we say else. Okay. So congratulations, you have passed the exam. You have 7 days to reserve your seat. All those lines are part of if is true. Here I will say, okay, try again after 3 months. Right? Now when you run it, so since this is 150, this becomes false. Okay, so you go to directly else. So from if and else, okay, only one set of command will be called. So here obviously, since this condition becomes false, we go to else. So there may be situations where you might have to check just one condition. Then you use only if. There may be a situation where you might have to check 2 conditions. Okay, if and otherwise. Then you use if else. You might have situation where you have more than 2 conditions to check. We'll see an example. Okay, but for 2 conditions, clear? You understood what we did here? Great. Let me move this away. And we'll start here. So let's say, okay, you want to assign grades based on the marks. Okay, so let's say marks equal to something. And you have a scheme here. That if it is greater than equal to 85, the grade should be A. Okay, if it is greater than equal to 75, okay, then you need to assign B grade. Greater than equal to 60, you assign C grade. Greater than equal to 50, you assign D grade. And if it is less than 50, you assign E grade. So how many conditions are we dealing here?
5 conditions.
5 conditions, yes. So we know for 2 conditions, we have to use if and else. So if is your like entry point. If is like the very first condition. Okay, so you will use if. Else is like last one because else does not have condition, correct? In else, we don't check the condition. So in else, we don't check the condition. So your else will become the last one, right? Because that is, if nothing works, then you go to else. In between, okay, the 3 conditions, we have to use something called as ELIF. Okay, ELIF means else if, short for else if, ELIF. And those will have conditions too. Okay, so let's see this. So I'm saying if your marks is greater than equal to 85, then say print grade A. ELIF, and from the beginning, it should be E should be below I, just like else was exactly below if. That's how you know that they are brothers, right? So ELIF, I have to check for second condition. Marks greater than equal to, let's say 75, right? I'm going to copy this part. In fact, I can, yeah, let me copy that. Okay. Now, this has to be grade B. Mark greater than 75. Now, here it is greater than equal to 60. And grade is C. Then, mass greater than equal to 50. Grade is D. And if nothing else is correct, else automatically means less than 50, isn't it? So I can say else print grade E. To see this, I'm checking. If marks is greater than equal to 85. So this is the first condition, right? So execution will still be sequential. Okay. So here, if marks is greater than equal to 85, then you go inside. And let's say if marks is 90, let's suppose, or 85, it will go inside, prints grade A, and then it will come out. This is the beauty. We could have written multiple if conditions, right? We said that we can, like, 5 conditions we have, right? So we could have written 5 different ifs. But why don't we write 5 different ifs? You can, right? It's not that you can't. You can. You can write 5 different if and still you get the same answer. Logically, that's not wrong. You get the answer. But instead of using 5 different if or 2 different if or 3 different if, as the situation may be, it is better you use if, elif, else, because if I've written 5 if mass greater than 85 grade A, if mass greater than 75 grade B, mass greater than, then if first condition is true, it will print grade A. And in this case, it will come down to the last line. Because all of these are linked. If, elif, 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 else. Okay, all these are linked. So if, let's say, like, you are looking for your keys, if you found your keys here, okay, in, let's say, in your drawing room, you are not going to check in other rooms, okay, because all these are, you are looking for same key. You are looking for your keys, okay, you found in drawing room, you'll ignore. But if you don't find in drawing room, then you'll go and check in the bedroom. First bedroom, you didn't find it, you'll check in the second bedroom. You might go and check in the kitchen, right? So you are going and checking each and every condition if you are not satisfied, if you have not got your answer. But if you are satisfied, if you get your answer, you will ignore the rest of the line. So in this case, in best case scenarios, in programming, we talk about best case scenario, we'll do it later. You're checking only one condition and your job is done. But if I write 5 different ifs, even if you get first answer, still you have to go and check 4 different conditions. Right? Because if means beginning of the check. So even if you get your first answer, still you'll be going and checking 4 different ifs. That's why as much as possible, try to use if, elif. As much as possible, use if, elif, else. Okay? As much as possible, use if, elif, else, because you are reducing the number of checks. Thereby, you are reducing the amount of time taken by your program to execute. Okay? There may be some situation like you are checking marks here and checking something else. In that case, you can't avoid. You have to write 2 different if. But if you're checking about same set of variables, it's better to have okay, same if, elif, else. Okay, so if mass greater than equal to 85, if this is true, then you go in and print grade A. Otherwise, done. Now, in this case, you see, marks is 75. So if mass greater than equal to 85, this becomes false. This becomes false, so you come here to the next condition. Mass greater than equal to 75, 25, yes, equal to 75, true, right? So this condition becomes true. So it's going to print grade B. Grade A is not printed because this condition becomes false. So it comes to second condition. Grade B is printed. Now, if you see, mass is greater than equal to 60 also, right? 75 is greater than equal to 60 also, right? So do you think grade C will be printed? No. Because what did I say? First matching condition only one condition at a time. So if this becomes true, it will not even check other condition directly. It will throw you out to the line number 20. Because all these are part of same block, right? Same problem. So if you find your keys, you will not go and still check, oh, let me check bedroom, second bedroom, I found still. Yeah, you will stop your search. Similarly, it will stop doing execution. Directly will come to line number 20. Okay, that's the beauty. And that's why, okay, you don't have to check the higher condition or lower condition. One condition is enough, 75. I'm not checking that it should be less than 85. Because because the previous condition has already checked, right? So this is how you can perform multiple conditions, multiple checks. And when you write if, elif, else, okay, within one block you are performing, and the first one to be true is executed. First condition to be true is executed, and rest condition it will not even check. That's why when we say 75, it should print grade B, and that's it. It should not even go and check next conditions. Yes. So this is how you can check multiple conditions. With me, everyone?
Yes.
Today we'll just learn more about this. Tomorrow we'll do a few more examples. Now,
A quick question.
yes.
How do you give a range on the condition?
No, that is decided by your business, right? Your business will tell you. Now, this is, let's say, your college rule, let's say. You mean to say upper and lower condition?
Yes, basically. So if
Yeah,
if
it's
it's a certain
using and or. So basically, what you're trying to say is you're trying to check two conditions with same statement, correct? When you say range, basically what I understand is you're trying to check two conditions in same line. For example, okay? So let me do same using 5 different if conditions. So if marks greater than 85, grade A is fine, because more than 85, anything, 120 also, it will give you grade A. Now I'm checking if here. Now since I'm using if, okay, and I'm going to comment this part for now. We will uncomment it one by one. Now, if you see here, okay, ours is 75. So this condition becomes false. Grade A will not be printed, but grade B will be printed, right? Great. Now let me uncomment this part. Or let me uncomment everything so that I can talk about everything at the same time. If, and let's say here also I give if. Marks less than 50, right? Okay. Now what happens? Our marks is 75. So this becomes false, right? So grade A is not printed. But now this becomes true. So grade B is printed. Now this is also true because 75 is more than 60 also. 75 is more than 50 also. So in this case, you will have BCD grade, right? So I need to give a range here. Range is and marks should be less than 85, correct? And marks should be less than 75. And marks should be less than 60. Right? Here not required. Less than 50 is fine. More than 85 is fine. Is that what, is this your question?
Yes, that was precisely it.
Yeah. So now you are giving both upper bound because they are independent if conditions, right? It has nothing to do with the previous if. It has nothing to do with the previous if. So it needs to have complete conditions. So in saying if it is more than 60, more than equal to 60 and up to 75. So 74.99999999 will be the range here. So I'm saying, yeah. So using and or, you will create your range. In this case, it makes sense with and because you want both conditions to be true. What are the both two conditions? One is that it should be more than something, and second condition is less than something. It should be more than this lower limit and lower than the higher limit. And right. So I was talking about best case and worst case. Best case is when your marks is 85. Now this is best case for first scenario. In the previous case, if you have 85, okay, with one condition, you are getting your answer and you come out. So how many conditions have you checked? Only one condition. Now, if you look at second case here, if it is 85, you get your answer, correct? So one step done. But you don't stop there. You have to check this one also because these are all independent if. So you're checking 2 condition, 3 condition, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So answer is grade A. But you had to check 8 conditions to get this answer. But there, we checked only one condition and we got an answer. Right? Every line of code will take some time. It could be fraction of second, but it takes time. Right? So, so this second program that we have written is 8 times slower than the first line of program. Even in the worst case, okay, that means your marks is 50 or say 48. If marks is 48, you are checking one condition, okay, false. Then you're checking second condition, third condition, fourth condition, and this is your else fifth condition. So you're checking 5 conditions here, okay, not one but 5. Okay, that's why we say worst case. In this case, if you see, you're checking this, you have to check this again, this also, this, right? So here also you're checking 8 conditions. So in this case, there is nothing called best because in all types of conditions, you are checking 8 conditions, right? So here, it will have fixed number of, when you execute it, fixed number of times, okay? Or time taken to execute this program will be fixed, irrespective of a value for marks. But first program, if your marks value is less, I mean, it's more than 85, it will be 8 times faster than this. But if it is like failing, it will not be 8 times faster. It will be probably like 5:8 ratio. But still that will be faster. Okay. Let me move this and bring in this program again. So we have seen if one condition, if two conditions, if else, 3 conditions, how do you do? If, ELIF, else. First is always if, last is always else. In between, you do ELIF. So if you have 1 conditions to handle, it is always if. 2 conditions to handle, it is if else. 3 conditions to handle, it is if, ELIF, else. If you have 98 conditions to handle, first will be if, last will be else, and 96 conditions in between will be ELIF, 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 96 times. Right? So that's how you do conditions. Okay. Now we're talking about nested conditions. Nested condition is condition inside condition. Condition inside condition. So I'm saying this is great, fine. But if somebody has got more than 90, then you award them with medal. Now see, you are checking grade, which is fine. Now, one option is I write one more condition here, a different if. If mass greater than equal to 90, you say print, you win the award or you win the medal, something like this, let's say. Okay, but here, since we are writing if separately, that means every time this if is checked. But you don't want to check if every time. You want to check if, okay, you want to check if only if it is more than. The question is, sorry guys, morning my cough increases. So I'm saying that, okay, here I need to check, okay, if marks is greater than 90, here, since I've written different if block, I'm checking it separately. But if I take this and put it inside somewhere here, okay, I'll put it inside here. Now tell me what is the advantage of putting this inside this? See, anyway, I'm checking for 85, right? And 90 will be true only in some cases if you are more than 85. Definitely, if it is between 75 and 85, you don't have to check for 90. So what I'm doing is I'm avoiding checking all the random conditions. I'm only checking the condition when the marks is more than 85. Because if it is more than 85, then only there are some chances that you will get more than 90 also. So, so this is a normal if. And inside this, I have one more if condition. Now, this I is exactly below this P, not in the beginning. So, if this I is exactly below P, that means this if is also part of this outer if condition. So, if this condition is true, you will go inside. Okay, now in this case, our marks is 75. Okay, this condition is not even checked because this itself is false. The main door itself is locked. If main door is locked, you can't go inside and look for some doors, right? Okay, so this becomes false. So you are avoiding one more check. You're directly going to else. Now, if I make this as 85, okay, then this becomes true. So you go in, you print grade equal to grade A, and then you will perform this check because now you're inside, so you will perform. But in this case, this condition becomes false. So medal is not printed. But same thing if I do it with 95, this becomes true. You get in, you print grade A. Now again you check for this. 95 greater than 90? Yes. So now you can say you win the medal. Okay. So this is called nested if inside if. Okay. And you can have any level of this. I can have one more here. So condition is if marks is greater than 98, okay, then you say that your photo will be on the wall of fame. So 95, you win the medal is true. Now it checks this condition. Oh, this condition is false. So this part will not be called. But what if I make this as true? More than 98, right? So 98 will not work. I have to say 98.001. Now this will be true, right? And now you see your photo will be on the wall of fame. Right? So you can have if inside if. No, why only if? You can have if else here. Right? So it's like main door, then door inside a door, then another door, possible. Any number of doors is possible. So in this case, if outer door opens, only then you'll be able to see the inner doors. Whether you get in or not, that's different case. Okay, if this itself becomes false, none of these will be even executed. And in this case, makes sense, right? If your marks is not even more than 85, then why should I check for 90, 95, 98? I don't have to. All right, any questions? We'll stop here for today, and tomorrow we'll take more examples and we'll practice these things. If, ELIF, else, nested if, okay, we'll practice that.